Good evening, everybody. I am Supriya Bhaskar Rao, and I welcome you on behalf of SecPod to our webinar today about the launch of our flagship cloud security product, SanerCloud. Welcome to today's webinar. We're absolutely thrilled to have you join us as we take a deep dive into SanerCloud, which is our next generation cloud security platform that's absolutely redefining how organizations protect their cloud environments. Before we get started today, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. Her name is Preeti Subramanian, and she's a visionary innovator who has been shaping the future of cybersecurity for over 17 years now. Also, as the director and head of R&D at SecPod, she's led the development of the Saner cybersecurity platform, turning it from just an idea into an absolutely world-class security solution over the past 15 years. She has architected as well as designed security solutions that don't just defend against attacks, but actively prevent them, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in cybersecurity. A true strategist at heart, she ensures that every feature, every function, and every innovation in Saner Cloud is research driven, impactful, and built for real world challenges that enterprises are facing today. As we all know, cloud security today is extremely complex, fragmented, as well as reactive. Security teams struggle with too many alerts, manual fixes, as well as compliance challenges. Saner Cloud is here to change the game by providing a single automated security platform that protects workloads, enforces cloud security posture, and eliminates risks, all before they turn into breaches. So in today's session, Preeti will walk us through a live demo of SanerCloud and also will show us how it delivers end-to-end visibility through remediation, as well as AI-powered threat prevention across AWS, Azure, and hybrid cloud environments. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the session. Our team will be happy to answer them at the end. With that, let's get started. Over to you, Preeti.
Thank you, Supriya. That was quite an elaborate introduction. Welcome, all of you, and thank you for joining us today. After a big bang with risk prioritization and posture anomaly management and numerous additions that we have done in our CVM product, we are now back with Saner Cloud. And let's get started of what SecPod journey is all about. We have a philosophy of preemptive security. And you must be wondering why preventive security is necessary. Um, it's a fact that both of them have their own place, whether we are talking about reactive or preventive security. But proactive security is better because it talks about preventing attacks, mitigating vulnerabilities against reactive approach, which talks about responding to security incidents and damage control, recovery, and things like that. So, in a proactive approach, there is a strong security policy that is in place. Regular vulnerability assessments are done, regular audits are done, pen testing is done. Our employees are regularly trained, and there is a general awareness of security, as against reactive, where you will have a intrusion detection system in place, or firewalls and incident response. So when an attack happens, you can not always be ready and guessing what will the next sophisticated attack is going to be. So with the proactive approach, we can reduce likelihood of breaches and also have cost optimization, because the reactive approach is quite costly on the brand. So, with proactive as a foundation, and we believe in continuous improvement rather than one fix at a time, let's dig deep into our product. There have been quite a lot of cloud breaches that we have seen recently with DeepSeek data exposure in January. It left 1 million records exposed because of a critical database that was exposed to the internet, which also exposed a lot of user prompts, API authentication tokens that were out there in public. And the only reason was a misconfiguration setting that was there. AWS load balancer issues that happened back in August 2024 is when there was a bypass of application load balancer. There was a misconfiguration, and an attacker could bypass the access control. And 15,000 applications were said to be compromised. But AWS disputed that it was a very smaller, attack, and the extent of potential exposure was very less. And then they corrected their documentation, providing clear guidelines. But is that enough? There also has been exposed AWS credentials in mobile applications that happened in 2024-25, where customers of AWS put the credentials in .env files or in the code, application code itself, which also makes us realize that if we have unencrypted credentials, it is always going to be very challenging to ensure that everybody who uses our cloud infrastructure may not be using it effectively, could expose some very secret information. There was also one of an incident with US defense data exposure that happened in 2023, where hardcode credentials were there, and an open storage was left for users, and about 3 TB of sensitive data was exposed. It was emails that were exposed. And an Azure leak that happened in 2022 had a SaaS token authentication leaked with 38 TB of internal data that was lost. Capital One is a very famous breach. We all know about it. A former AWS employee exploited one of the vulnerabilities, the server side request forgery, which exposed sensitive data in an S3 bucket, exposed about 100 million plus customer records. So the breaches are out there, right? It could be a former employee, or it could be, sometimes when, especially in the US defense data, where an update had happened and they forgot to fix one of the misconfiguration that had happened. So there are mounting risks, and people are providing solutions as workflows, which is quite daunting because one has to know the intelligence to fix it, reading those REM flows, which is a very common challenge, because finding a person, an employee who can understand cloud infrastructure very well and also be able to implement security in an organization is quite challenging. And a reactive mindset is one of the things that is always encouraged us thinking that shouldn't we move to proactive approach, because that mindset itself waiting for an attack to happen is very dangerous. And now that we believe, say we believe in proactive security, but we start buying security products which are very fragmented. Everybody provides one piece of the entire security framework that is needed, and the users are supposed to understand one product, feed that into another product, which also becomes very challenging when the products work in silos. So these are the major challenges that people are facing currently. And with the increase in AI, the attacks are not very difficult to conduct. So we have to be proactive. So we're introducing SanerCloud to you today, which is an AI fortified CNAPP product which will block breaches before they occur. And we believe that 95% of the attacks that happen is because of a misconfiguration that is there in your infrastructure. And also 45% of people who are working in the security teams lack visibility to the workloads that are there. So imagine you are using the cloud infrastructure, you have network devices, you have various laptops, desktops that are running. You need to secure everything. and you cannot have something that is working in silos. So, a unified approach is what we are promising. And also, this will be cost effective because the whole challenge of having a continuous compliance instead of just waiting for an audit to happen is something that we feel is required right now. So, continuous compliance and consistent protection, one click remediation is what we are promising. We have various capabilities of Sena Cloud. We have segregated it into cloud security asset exposure, where we show all the security, say, publicly accessible resources that you have, the security challenges that you're facing, those will be exposed. We have various services and resources that we might be using from the cloud vendors such as AWS and Azure. So we try to show a heat map of which services you're using the most. We also show geographical distribution of resources across the regions. We also have a watch list that you can create if you are interested in certain resources and you want to watch them closely across the products that I'm going to mention today. Cost optimization, which is often a question when we are dealing with big cloud vendors. We can see the estimation, what is the cost that has been, where I can reduce, and also some of the outdated resources that we might be using. With CSPA, we have a concept. Now that you have visibility with CSAE, let's find what are the anomalies that we have when we look at similar data sets. So, say for example, you have EC2 instances. Most of the EC2 instances are configured in a certain way, but one stands out, which also means that you need to handle heterogeneous set of resources, which makes it very difficult because the remediation is also needed for each of them very separately. So posture anomaly uses data science, and it will be able to point outliers of what you can fix well before you start your CSPM, a posture management or a compliance journey. With CSPM, which is Cloud Security Posture Management, we need to comply to some benchmarks such as PCI, HIPAA, NIST, CIS, and we provide all of these benchmarks ready for you to use. You can even customize which rules are applicable to you, and also we provide fixes for them. One can dig deep and see when was it first detected in my organization, and since when I have this problem. There is a knowledge base where you can read more about these information, evidence of why we have marked it as an issue. And also you have a one-click remediation. I will come to it when we go deeper into remediation. When we talk about cloud, identities is one of the most important entities. So cloud identity entitlement management, which talks about users, groups, roles, applications, your Entra policies and users that you might be having. All those you can visualize, and also you can see if there are any inactive users, excessive permissions given to any user group, what are those policies that are in place, and how I can go ahead and fix them. Now, with all these configuration detection that we have, one thing that an organization may not be looking deeper into are the applications that are running in these workloads, such as EC2 instances. So we provide an entire suite of tools there, which is vulnerability management, compliance management, workload management, uh, which can be used, which is similar to our CVEM product. And one can see what all vulnerabilities are there in these instances. And now we are telling you the problems, right? But if we don't give you the fix, it's not cool. So we do provide remediation as well. This is true remediation, where one can click and fix the issue with a few clicks, and also approve a fix if it should not be taken immediately. Because we're talking about cloud infrastructure, maybe your production instances are running on it. So, with all of this, we have AI capabilities where we have AI running as risk prioritization in the workload management, and also a Gen AI where you can ask questions and it will answer to you. So, without taking much time, I will go into the demo. So, I'll share my screen. Just give me a moment. This is our product, SanerCloud. I hope you're able to see my screen. So we already have, if you are our Saner customer, you will be knowing that we have something called CVEM, where we talk about advanced vulnerability management, where endpoint servers, network devices are secured. An additional field that has come here is called cloud infrastructure, where you can have your accounts, whether it is Azure or AWS, and you will be able to secure them, prevent attacks through fixing misconfiguration, and cloud workloads, where if you have EC2 instances or Azure virtual machines, you'll be able to onboard them and see issues, if any vulnerabilities are there in the applications, operating systems, etc. So here, I'm starting today with a unified view. If you have AWS and Azure together, you're using that in the organization, or your customer base is using a heterogeneous set of cloud vendors, one always needs to see what is happening in my cloud infrastructure. So these are the total resources, what are publicly accessible, what is my monthly cost, and what is the risk that I have. These are the security risks. We have categorization of resources that we are using on the cloud, as well as we have active resources that we are using on the geolocations. Combined together, AWS and Azure. We have compliance benchmark status put together along with severity. We have CIEM, which talks about which are those users which have excessive permission, groups which are empty, roles that have excessive permission, which are those policies that I need to closely look at, and also Azure applications that we are using and what are the issues with those. We have anomalies that we can see in our infrastructure. What is that one thing when I see together stands out, which is a very rare view that we get in other products. Remediation, of course, with one click, we will be able to fix it as well. But instead of going through this, I would like to go to one of the onboard that I have done. Now, as soon as you create an account, the first thing you would want to do is to onboard your cloud security. So there are different ways in AWS and Azure where you can have, say, for example, a cloud formation, which automatically, if you're logged in into your AWS account, it will create the roles and policies required. We also have a list of what we are asking as a permission to check and to remediate. If you want to go the manual way, you can use the instruction guide, create the role, and give us the ARN. Or the easiest way of onboarding is to provide your cloud account, access key, and the secret key, and onboard. For ease, I have already onboarded. It hardly takes about 5 minutes to onboard. So I'll go into Nimbus, which is my account today for demo. This is an account level dashboard where one of the cloud accounts have been onboarded. I have different products here that I spoke about: CSAE, CSPM, CIEM, CSPA, and CSRM. Now I'm going to dig deep into each of the products so that you understand what I'm talking about and see if it makes sense to you. Security can be started by random things, but visibility is one of the most important things. We need to know what we are trying to secure. And that comes only if we have something like this, where we can see which are those services that I'm using extensively. This is the map where EC2 and S3 are standing out while there are other services that I'm using. These are the different resource types that I'm using in the organization. You can click on each of them and dig deep into seeing what are those config rules that I'm using. And here you can even see details of them. One can also see the JSON here, which can be used for your integration purpose. Now, going back to the dashboard, the most important thing that one wants to see is what is that is publicly accessible. So say today my interest is SageMaker. So say a service type, I'm saying SageMaker instances. And I will be able to see if they are publicly accessible or not, which would be my concern. We can also see data based on geographical locations. And if I click on that, you will see what all is running on that particular geographical location. We also have resource categorization where one can see what are the compute devices that are running. I can also see what are the instances that are running, what are the images that are available, and I can dig deep and understand what is that image. These are the EC2 instances that are running, which are stopped, what are the instance types, and what are their IPs. At one point, if you run the scan, you will be immediately able to know what are those S3 buckets, instances that are running. This is a trend, this is a fairly new account. A trend, nothing has changed much here, but there can be differences in your trend when you keep changing service types and resource types and how many resources you have been using. A sudden increase or decrease would need your deeper look into what has been there on that day. A very favorite topic of all cloud infrastructure users: what is the cost that I can expect this month? We can also see cost breakdown, and I see that Claude that I've been using has been increased, and I'm trying to bring it down because that helped me. It was a massive cost and I tried to bring it down. If it is very difficult to comprehend what is there, one can always click and analyze using AI. What is there that is shown here? It says that Sonnet has a 40% increase, cost approximation, 40% of the total. And Trail is the next one with 7.84. And the highest monthly cost has been in February, which is true. These are 3 pointers that you can get using our Gen AI capability of summarizing what is very difficult to comprehend. There are outdated resources that I have put in my demo account today. These are because probably I'm using a deprecated instance. So this instance type, let's see, M1 small is no longer suggested by AWS. So we should think of changing this image type to something that is more in place as AWS suggests. Now, I have a requirement of seeing certain things that I would want to see very closely. Say, for example, I can create my watch list. I have created for SageMaker already, but I would want to show you. So we can say SageMaker, I want to see, and on only US West 1, West 2 regions. The reason is I want to see these SageMaker instances on US West, right? I can run it on current data set and add it to my watch list. Now, if you go back, I have already made a watch list. I have run a scan and I can now see my watch list everywhere. So these two are watch listed. But when I go across products, I will be able to see using tagging. I have tagged it as a watch list and I'll be able to see it closely. I will try to show it to you a little ahead. Let me go to the other products that I want to show you to you today. Posture anomaly is often a view that is never seen when we put something together, right? So what we have done is we have seen a data set which is similar. Say, for example, if I am seeing source IPs through critical logs, or I'm seeing the security groups that are there, I can look at them closely and see if there are any outliers that are there. Most of my issues are falling under the source IP in my critical event logs. I have also categorized it into different categories so you can see where is your attack surface going more. It's more towards the management and governance side of it. Now, I would like to showcase to you some of the checks that I'm going to show today. So, say for example, I'm closely looking at EC2 instances which have too many security groups attached. In my infrastructure today in the demo account, I have only one attached to an EC2 instance. So it is marking 2 and 4, these instance IDs, as something that we need to closely look at. If it is a management overhead or we need to remove the redundant ones, we should take these actions quickly as possible. Another one that I would want to show to you today is, let's see, is there? Yeah. Users who have outdated access. There are some users who have been created, but they have never updated their sign-in credentials since last 11 months. We would want to take actions against these users, probably want to block their login access for some time till it is updated, or these employees have left and we did not know, we did not take care, right? This is another example. There are a number of them that we check. These are the entire list, and you can get this list from our documentation, but I'm quickly showing you things that would make sense to you. Then there is another one that I can show today. This is another view where a security group is attached to a very few instances that are there in the organization. We might want to get rid of this because if they're least used, maybe we can have possibly some security lapses with this because they're only used by a few instances. If you're okay with it, you can always select and whitelist them. But if you want to go ahead and fix, you can click on the fix button and fix them. I will show you the fix when we are looking into remediation. So this is quickly CSPA for you. I know I have not done justice, but there's a lot that I need to cover today. This is where we get started with our compliance. We can see the top affected regions, severity based distribution. One can also click and see what are these instances that have issues, if there are any, and service based. So, for example, S3, I can find if there are any issues, and also benchmark that I have created. By default, SecPod provides regional and global compliance, which takes the best setting from PCI, NIST, CIS, so that if you are compliant to SecPod default, you will automatically be compliant to many benchmark that are there. If you want to be compliant to SOC 2 and PCI, if you apply SecPod default and just pull out an information about PCI, you'll be able to see compliance. Right now, I have put a lot of misconfiguration in my sandbox account for you to see how it looks like. So let me dig deep into one of the things that I can show you here. It is PCI DSS demo that I'm showing it to you today. I have already evaluated it. I will also create a benchmark right now to show it to you. So here it talks about issues that I'm seeing, and I would want to see what is the issue that I'm talking about here. It says that this publicly EBS snapshot is there in this region, which is US West 2, and also US West 1. There is EBS snapshot, but it does not have an issue. We can also click on evidence to see what is the issue with this particular snapshot that is there. We can also dig deep and read about this. What is, if you are giving any particular report, you can add these information from these links as well. So let me create a benchmark today and show it to you. Let me see what I can create, probably NIST. US West 1, West 2. I will get a list of all the checks. There are 241 checks here. Say I will run 2 checks today, and also I want to change the severity of it because this is important for me, right? So that is the capability that we are providing. According to the organization, you can change the benchmark criticality. One can click next. I can say next demo. Just quickly put this, create a new benchmark, and I would want to evaluate it. And this will run a scan and it will get evaluated. So right now, if I refresh the screen, I'll be able to see I ran 2 checks, but both of them passed. So you can dig deep and see what is the check that I ran and what is the implication of it. Right now it passed. One can also see when it was first detected and things like that once you dig deep into the issue. So 14th is when I detected this issue first, but it has been there in the organization for quite some time, and it gets cleared when the REM happens. The next thing that I would want to dig deep into is CIEM as a product, which showcases all the users, groups, policies, and roles. And in Azure, it has a different set. Users, groups, applications, policies, Entra policies, and things like that. So there are users which have excessive permission. There are policies which are categorized as large policies. AWS has marked them as, though it is only view only, it exceeds characters that AWS says is recommended to follow only 10,000 to 40 characters. One can visualize it in this way and also see which groups roles are using those. We can also see users which have excessive permission. There are some users which are not active as well. So there is an S3 replication role that I would want to show it to you today, because of which we have marked it as a problem. Now this policy allows on all resources. It does not follow the least use privilege um, recommendation of AWS. And we can also see in the policy document where we have gone wrong, right? So the star is something that has to be corrected. Policies can be corrected using the remediation. And also, though I have blurred for security reasons, one can see critical activities. Say somebody updated the account password. Who is that person who has performed it and when it was performed? So it is a um, on every scan this gets updated in an incremental form. And there are remediation that one can apply. So clicking on the remediation, one will be able to see certain actions that we want to do. If we have inactive users, I will try to apply and see these are all the users which are inactive. I might want to delete their login profile. So it is a very easy process where you add a user-friendly REM name and apply it immediately or on a schedule. The next thing that I would cover would be true remediation. So I would want to spend some time here because remediation is not through only workflows, but one can also automate it. So this is the example of that, where we have categorized and segregated remediation based on the products that we are providing. You can buy remediation as you have bought the CSPA or CSPM product. One can see all the remediation that is there and all the status that has happened till now. And patch aging is since when it's 5 days old because it's a relatively new account, but you can see which are greater than 30 days old. If I had the data, I would have shown it to you. And if you fix issues, how with patch your issues will reduce. I'll dig deep into CSPM, where I'm seeing a lot of issues that are mentioned here, and I would want to remediate them, right? So these are the issues, and this is the remediation ID for it. So, say for example, I have an AWS account where this is my AWS account and it never expires, right? The password never expires. So, which is an issue. So, let's see in all if I can see any password related issues. So, these are the list. There is set password expiration policy. This has come because it has found that the password never expires. So, I will click on it. I'll apply the password policy. It's as easy as this. I will say expire it every 60 days. I'll be able to give rem demo, um, say some number. Yeah, I'm just giving some random name for today. And I will be able to see a summary of which regions will be affected, because globally it will affect everybody. And I may choose to provide the consent because I am a user which can go forward and fix this. For some users this will be disabled if you allow them not to approve but seek for review. So this will be disabled, and a person who has a user of this product who has can come back and see and approve. So creating a task with, I would want to consent so that I can show it to you. There are different states that would happen. Either it can fail, it may not get initiated, it will get initiated after the first possible time, or one can even approve. So this is one of the examples where I wanted to show how it looks if it is not approved. A person can look into what are the settings that a person has created, another user has created, and one has the option of rejecting or approving a task. Rejection would delete it, approve would take it forward. And let's see, I will refresh and see if the password policy, it will get initiated soon. So let's see some other things that I would like to show it to you today. I have already covered onboarding, but this is an Azure account which is very similar. So you don't need to learn two products. No need to go to two dashboards of Azure and Amazon and AWS and try to fix issues. This is one place which looks similar and it is easy for anybody to learn. If you have a person who knows a little bit about cloud and is eager to do security, I promise you this product is going to be very easy for them. So these are similar implications when it comes to Azure. My Azure is built in Indian rupee, whereas my AWS is built in US dollars. So you will see all those differences. You can also click and understand, dig deep into what that resource is. Here, the most important thing that we forget is the cloud workload management, right? So we have so many instances. So here in this example, I'm showing to you 4 EC2 instances that I have done for the demo today. I see vulnerabilities in each of them. Clicking on them can also show you details of an Elasticsearch application which is there, an Linux image which has vulnerabilities, and one can fix them by clicking on the fix button. And these are my workloads. Are they up and running? It can also be seen. And these IPs will match whatever I had onboarded. So there is another thing that I would want to show to you today. So I have told you so many things today, right? But still there will be questions that you might be having. Feel free to use our AI Plasma, which you can ask questions and see what is running in my system. in my cloud infrastructure, things like that. This feature is available both for CVEM and cloud. One can understand what is Saner. One can discover in their organization. These are the three icons that I'm explaining. Discover anything that is there in your organization, in your setup, in your account. And also, you can search in our homegrown intelligence. So, say for example, I spoke so much, right? And you still did not get what is CSAE. So, you can say, what is CSAE, right? What is the purpose of it? You can learn more about it, and it will tell you what CSA is all about, right? And if I say list Azure rules that you're running, give me some intelligence, right, of what you are running. What is that intelligence that is running? So you can actually click on this and be able to see what are the list of Azure rules that we are running. It is quite a number of them. It will crunch this data and give it to you. There are summarization that you can, every grid has a summarization. If it is difficult to comprehend, one can do that. These are the rules that we are running. There can be cloud resources that one can see what all is onboarded. You can tag them and create groups and run that filter in your I can actually show you that watch list that I had created, how I tagged it, and I will show it to you in a moment. You can have alerts, audit logs, and reports that you can quickly use. And you can have summarization, create wonderful reports for your audit or for your presentations on security. Let me also show you that I created one watch list. So I would want to show it to you. I have so many checks. I would want to see my watch list. I've created multiple tags. My SageMaker. What are the issues, CSPM issues on it? You'll be able to see that. And once I click, you'll be able to see what are those issues. So notebook should not have direct internet access, and direct internet access is enabled on these. So I quickly ran through all of them. Let me go back and continue the slides. Are you able to see my slides? So we have bundled approaches that we are providing. If you have a security compliance requirement, you can use CSPM and CWPP to put them together. So you get the workload side compliance management as well as cloud infrastructure compliance. If you're looking at cloud security posture management, you can use CSAE, which will give you visibility on all the infrastructure that you're using, as well as go ahead and create benchmark with CSPM. If you're looking purely for risk assessment, we suggest that you use CSA, CSPA, CSPM, CIEM, CWPP, but need not buy our remediation product. But if you're truly looking at risk remediation as a bundle, we suggest that you use CWPP, PM, CM, and WM, workload management, as well as CSRM, which is our product, which you can buy independently. You don't need to buy all the solutions. If you're looking at workload protection, you can use all the 7 modules of CWPP, VM, CM, workload management, patch management. And if you're looking at workload management solution, we suggest you use AE, PM, and WM to do software deployment, scripts you want to run, remote access that you want to do, any software provisioning that you want every instance to have. You want to remotely connect, forget going to AWS, you can directly connect from our product, get remote access, which is can work wonders at times when it is critical. And you can also have network device compliance, and it is truly AI fortified. So, what is the business impact of Sena Cloud, right? So, we are looking at mitigating vulnerabilities, stop threats before they disrupt your business operation. I know about the e-commerce, vendor quickly wanted to scale up. used the cloud infrastructure, but obviously there was some misconfiguration and there was an attack. Logistic company customer that we had, they were telling us about how one breach, affected their reputation, because people are looking at what is happening and how eager are we, when it comes to security. A unified visibility with all the cloud work loads that you have, whether it is AWS, Azure, you can put it together. AI driven intelligence, we have Gen AI capabilities as well to ask a question and it will immediately point out where to go, what to do. You can pull out those reports as well. And it is cost efficient because you don't need to have a separate person looking at different silos of products that you have, feed one to another, which becomes very difficult. I have given say issues, but we don't know what the remediation is, or we know the remediation but we don't know how to assess. So all these issues, lumping up products individually, we have tried to simplify it. So true remediation, unification, and AI cost effectiveness is our promise. So, with the growing demand and the cloud complexity that we have, and there's a lack of people, who know truly what is security of cloud, and there's an urgent need that you have for automating your risk management. Sena Cloud is built to address that. Sophisticated attacks, we always try to keep up with it, but then one has to see what is to be monitored much before an attack happens. So if the attack landscape is ever evolving, we better be prepared, and proactive security keeps us prepared. For our customers, our buyers, we will help reduce your response times. You will not have a burnout operationally. We offer personalized customer support, which will help you onboard your cloud infrastructure with ease, and will also be there for your queries, helping you with remediation. And constantly, we are evolving this product to go into GCP. Our roadmap would include Alibaba, Oracle Cloud, private cloud if you have. And with your feedback, we will be able to grow this product into much better, and we'll prioritize all your needs. So over to you, Supriya. This is all I had today.
Thank you so much, Preeti. We actually do have a couple of questions, but before that, it was an absolutely insightful session. And I think I personally learned quite a bit about Sena Cloud today as well. So I'm just going to get started into the questions because we want to wrap this up as quickly as possible. But one of the first questions was, how exactly is Sena Cloud different to other endpoint security and vulnerability management solutions, especially with regards to automation as well as real-time threat mitigation? So that's one question that we've gotten.
Okay, so when we are looking at vulnerability management, we are looking at cloud workloads, vulnerabilities in those, whether it is hardware, software, operating systems, as well as all the misconfiguration that can occur in the infrastructure, where it is identities, your computing infrastructure, any real time information that you need. Everything is put together, and you get complete visibility to what is running right now in your system. And true remediation AI are our differentiators when it comes to cloud security.
Our next question is, does this solution only work on AWS or is it also for other clouds?
It works on AWS and Azure for now. We are building our GCP capabilities as well, and you'll be able to see that in the roadmap in the upcoming year. Our financial year starts from April, so this year you'll be also be able to see GCP and other cloud providers. So right now, AWS and Azure.
Understood. A last couple of questions as well. Would you be able to share with us an example of how organizations can use the CSAE module to actually proactively detect as well as mitigate threats before they escalate?
CSA is a wonderful product because it gives you complete visibility of each resource that you're using on the cloud infrastructure. So, whether it is what all VPCs are there, what security groups I'm using, what are the issues, all those things you'll be able to see. With CSPM added on, you'll also be able to see the issues with them. So, visibility is the starting point for any security. I had a very wonderful session in the launch event as well, where people asked, do you know how many instances are running right now in your cloud infrastructure? So, maybe this is an answer to it.
Thank you very much. I think we should move to our last question now, which is workload security. And I really agree with this question. Workload security is a major focus for enterprises moving to the cloud. How does Sena Cloud provide better protection as compared with other solutions in the market right now?
Okay, so if you are a new customer, please do try our CVM product. Our cloud workload protection platform is very much similar. Our coverage is huge. We have been there in the market since 2008, and we have a huge security intelligence that backs our product. All the CVs that you see, we also have SVEs that we develop, security vulnerability enumeration, even if it is not covered as CVE. We have our own testing labs where remediation is tested. You have feature rich patch management. You can fix your security, non security issues as well. So do look at CWPP and a elaborate demo. You can ask an elaborate demo on CWPP, and we will be happy to show it to you.
Those are all the questions that we had for today. Thank you so much, Preeti, for this absolutely enlightening demo about Sena Cloud as well. For everybody who attended the webinar today, thank you very much. We will be back with you with all of our communications and also a recorded session for you to access whenever you want to. Plus, also, if you want to request a demo or a trial or just understand how Sena Cloud works, please just come on to our website and you can request for it ASAP. Thank you very much. All of you have a good day.
Thank you so much.